All right, I am recording now. So if anybody need the video recording of tonight's training, you can go back and review it. Okay, so this is the first thing that we're gonna do, all right? We're gonna go over the very basics of MetaTrader 4, what it's capable of doing, how to set up your charts, how to check for your symbols, how to put an order in. You're gonna set up your, we're gonna go over and cover how to use your trend lines. We're gonna use your crosshairs. We're also gonna show you how to use your vertical lines as well as your horizontal lines, as well as your Fibonacci, okay? We're not gonna go into depth with a lot of like the Fibonacci tool or anything, but we just wanna show you exactly how to use it, okay? And we're gonna even show you how to use text on it. So write something on your screen so you can see it, remember exactly what you did to set up certain trade setups, things of that nature, okay? So first things first. Once you open up your MetaTrader 4, this is basically what you're gonna see, all right? Now, over here up at the top, you have all your different tools, your controls, all right? Now, this one here is to set up a new chart or place a new trade, okay? Once you actually click on this, this is gonna show you, or matter of fact, it's gonna actually put a new chart on your screen. As you can see down here at the bottom, these two were not here before. And if I close these out, if I go back up here, it'll automatically put a new chart down here at the bottom. Okay, so if you want to put in a new chart without having to go through and scroll down through your market watch, you can click this button here right underneath file and find the pair that you want. Real simple, real easy. You got your metals, FX crosses, the major pairs, all of it's right here. Okay, now this little button here, okay, this actually sets up different profiles. Now, I haven't really messed with this too much, so I don't want to necessarily go into depth about it, okay? But you can actually create and remove certain profiles just using this button, all right? This one here is for your market watch. This is this here, this area right here is where you have all your symbols, your bids, and your ask prices, as well as your spreads. So if I was to click this button, this is to turn it on and off, okay? If I click it again, it reappears. This is for your turning on and off of your market watch. This one here is your data window, okay? As you can see, if I was to put my cursor over any one of the candlesticks, all that data will appear, all right? All the data will appear no matter what candle that I put my cursor on. The information for that particular candle will show up in your data window. Now, I don't use this that much, but anytime that I need to know what's happening with one of my candlesticks, I can easily use that data window to show the data for that particular candle. All right, it gives me my high, my low, my close, my open, the time of the candle, the date of the candle, and as well as your MA, your crossings, okay? So your moving averages that is associated with that candle as well, all right? Now, this here is your Navigator window. You can turn it on and off once again from this button. Now, this Navigator window, it will show you your accounts, your real account, as well as your demo accounts. But it'll also show you all your different indicators that you can use. And what you can do with your indicators, you can drag and drop these indicators directly on to your screen. Now, I'm gonna just leave everything as default real quick, just so you can see it. And boom. See how easy that was, guys? Real simple, real easy. You just grab one of the indicators from the side. I'm gonna just grab Ichimoku, because it's one of my favorites. Click OK, and then boom. Now you have all of your indicators. Let me go ahead and remove that real quick. You have all your indicators right here on the side inside your Navigator window. All right. Now your expert advisors, these are robots. These are bots that will actually trade on your behalf or put in your stop loss, put in your take profit, all depending on what robot that you're going to be using. Okay. So this is your Navigator window. You have your accounts, your indicators, your expert advisors, and your scripts. Now, I don't use the scripts too much, okay? But this here is a very important tool because this is how you're going to switch back and forth between your real account and your demo account. All right? Now, down here at the bottom, this button right here, this is your strategy tester. If you want to test out different strategies, test out and some EAs that you may have found, you can use this to test out those expert advisors, as well as your indicators to find out which one proves to be the better one, proves to be the more efficient one to get you the most money out of the market, all right? Now, if you're gonna be a true coder, like my man Marshall, he would use this more than likely to test out some of his codes, to test out some of his expert advisors to make sure that it's actually going to be pulling in the money that he needs it to pull in. All right, make sure it got that accuracy on it. Now, I don't use that window too much, but one thing that I want you guys to know for sure, this button here is your terminal button. This pretty much turns on and turns off your trade window down here at the bottom, okay? So if you don't have this turned on, this is how you would turn it on. Click here and make sure you have it on. Now this will show you your trades, your active trades, your pending trades. This will also show your account history, what you've done with that account, how much money that you've made for the day, how much money you've lost for the day. This will also show you the news for that day. Here in your alerts, you can actually set up different alerts. If you right click in this area here, create an alert, you have the option of creating an alert on any one of the pairs that you want. Okay, you can set it to expire at a certain date. You can actually set it to say if the bid price is at say let's say 0.99474, okay? An alert will actually pop up. And once you pop up, put it directly up here. Let's see. 99472. Let's do it that way. Okay. Did you hear the alert? The alert just popped up. And that's so almost every 10 seconds, this alert will actually pop up. I didn't put an expiration in, and I allowed it pretty much every 10 it will sound an alert. All right, so that's pretty much how you guys you set an alert. So just in case you may have key levels that you want to make sure that you are aware of, say if you're doing a teacup and you've already set the level, you set the line, but you're going to be away from your computer, you got some of the things that's going to be going on, but you want to be aware of when the market gets to that level, okay? This is how you set up an alert. So once the market hits that level, you can go back, you can take a look at that trade and see exactly what it's doing. All right. Many people use this. Many people use the app called Call Levels. Call Levels is another way that you can use an alert, or should I say, use something to wind up texting you or showing you an alert so you can actually take a look at the market, find out exactly what's going on at that particular level. All right. So if you do not have Call Levels, you can use the MetaTrader 4 to set up alerts to alert you when it's time. All right. Now, here's your mailbox. Now, many of you guys may not know, anytime that you have a MetaTrader 4 account, okay, inside the mailbox, you will have your account registration information. All right. So anytime that you set up a MetaTrader 4 account, whether it's a demo, whether it's a real account, you want to make sure that you go down here to this mailbox to get your account registration. And the only way you're going to find that is inside your terminal window. Okay. Inside your terminal window, down here at mailbox, that's where you're going to find your registration information, the password, as well as your ID for your account. All right. Now the marketplace, this is a little something different. Many of you guys may not know about this, but inside the marketplace, they have different demo type expert advisors that you can use to run in the background of your trades. Okay. Now, don't play around with this too much because I want to be able to learn. But they have different things, different indicators, as well as different robots that will pretty much trade on your behalf. But like I said, I don't use this too much. I use what I've learned from IML TV, Dr. Spiller, Oren Wright, and Losado. This is something I don't really mess with, guys. But if you want to dibble and dab, by all means, please do. This is where you're going to find a lot of different expert advisors, you know, saying different indicators. You know what I mean? You have different libraries down here that are free, okay? You got different utilities and so on and so forth. You can download stuff. It'll pretty much upload right here, okay, in your downloads, and you can have at it. I don't have anything downloaded, so I really can't show you guys anything with that, all right? So, that is the marketplace. The signals, I don't know too much about this area. I haven't really played around with it. I haven't played around with the code base or the experts or the journaling, okay? Now, one thing that I do want to cover with you guys is the account history, okay? Inside your account history, if you wanted to download all of those trades that you've done and just take a quick analytical look at how you've done over the last couple of days, couple of months, whatever the case is, you can do it right here. Really simple, really easy. You go to your account history, and what you do is you go to Save as Detailed Report, okay? Once you do that, your save box is going to come up. You find the location in which you want to save it, okay? I'm going to save it right here on top of this other one. Now what happens is, I want to make sure we do it this way. Okay, so what happens is a web page will pop up. It will give you detailed information on all your trades that you've done on that account. And at the bottom, what you'll see is a graph showing you how you've done over the past, or should I say over the course of that account. Okay, as you can see, I haven't done too well in this account because I've been playing around with different strategies, playing around with different price points, as well as lot sizes. So as you can see, there was a steep decline here a couple of weeks back, and then there was another dip, and as you can see, it's starting to rise back up. But nonetheless, it gives you the detail down here at the bottom, your profit, your largest profit on the trade is $98. Largest loss, 247. And it just gives you nice, consistent details about what you've done. I've had a consecutive wins of 12, consecutive losses of 11, consecutive profit, 141, consecutive losses, 645. That was that. This dip here. I know that one for sure. That was that USD CHF trade when the news came out. My account just dropped. But nonetheless, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it for the how to figure out your account history, how to download it, how to take a look at it, and see what's been going on with your account. Now, does anybody have any questions as of right now? Just want to make sure.
I have a question, Daniel.
Hey, what's going on, Willie?
Hey, Daniel. 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Once you set up your indicators, like you have there, and you want to go to another pair, would those indicators go also be on the next screen for the next pair?
Yep.
And my second question is, which button do you click on to monitor 4 charts?
If you want to monitor 4 charts?
Yes.
So if you want to monitor 4 charts, but you want to monitor them all at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I saw it one time. I can't find it anymore.
Yeah. So you would click on this button right here. That button will arrange all your charts. Let me see. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, you're a bit choppy, Willie. I really can't hear you. You still there, Willie?
Android user.
No, sir.
Hush up, Kevin.
Bars.
It's all good.
Good evening.
All right, so just to make sure everybody knows concerning Willie's question is how to pretty much see at least 4 charts at the same time. Okay. Now, what I would do is I would get rid of a lot of these additional things that I'm not using if I want to maximize my screen. So I would turn off the market watch, the terminal window, the navigator, and then I would hit this button right here to arrange all of my windows in that space. That way I can see multiple charts at the same time. You guys see how I did that? I'm gonna get rid of this one because I don't need that one anymore.
Can you do that again?
Yep. So if I have, say, like my market watch window open, my terminal, I would shut all of this down to maximize the screen. And then say if I had this one up, but I want to see all of my screens at once, we're going to hit this button right here in the middle, right next to your zoom out button. This button arranges all your windows so there will not be any overlap. So you see 3 different terminals, or if you want to just shut one of them down, you just want to see 2 of them, boom. Easy peasy.
Awesome.
All right.
Dan, you made this look so easy, man.
That's because it is.
Look, I've been on TradingView. I'm Team TradingView, but I'm getting back on the MetaTrader 4 on the PC though. So this was very helpful, right up my alleyway. It's something I really needed, and I'm gonna probably consult with you more in the future about this MetaTrader 4 on the PC.
Okay, no doubt, man. This is, like I said, man, this stuff is really easy. There's nothing complex about it. It's just a matter of just fooling around with it. That's it. Once you kind of get the hang of it, everything else will just be really, really simple. So, one of the things that I do want to show you guys how to set up is definitely your period separators and turning off your grids. Because anytime that you start out with a fresh chart, so we're going to start out with a fresh chart, okay? This is what you're going to be looking at. Now, if you zoom in, they're lines. These are your line charts, okay? And sometimes it's a bit difficult to read this. So what I typically do is I use this button here to turn on my candlesticks, okay? This will give me my candlesticks. Now this line right next to it will give me a line chart. Sometimes you may see on right if you're on his calls, you'll see him turn on the line chart to use the what do you call it? What is this thing called? The trend line, to actually set his trend lines to make sure that everything is lining up properly, okay? But I normally use the candlesticks. I have a little bit more respect for the candles. I love to be able to see what it's doing. So what I do is I do this, because here's the key. You leaving it this way, some people can read it, but I like to be able to fill in some of the colors and get rid of the grids so I can be able to see the charts just a little bit more clear, okay? Now, the way that you do that, you're gonna use either F8 or you right click on the chart itself and go down to properties, okay? So 2 ways you can do it. You can either right click on the chart and go to properties, or you can just click the F8 button and that'll bring up your property window for the charts, okay? Now, once you set it here, it will span across every chart that you drop, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just switch up colors here. So for the bull candle, I'm gonna choose deep blue sky. For the bull candle, I'm gonna do the very same thing. For the bear candle are your bearish candle. And I am going to, you know what, let's do a tomato. Not salmon, I'll do a salmon. All right, and here's your bear candle. We're gonna do that same salmon. All right, now, if I click OK, now my candlesticks are full of color. All right, but if I want to turn off the grids in the background, once again, you hit F8 and you go to the comment tab. The comment tab right here on the side, you uncheck the show grid and you check the show the period separators. Once you do that, you click OK and boom. Now you have your period separators. You have a full black background along with the coloring of your candlesticks. Real simple, guys. Really, really simple.
Can you do that one more time? Where was that?
No, I ain't doing that one more time.
One more time, please.
Come on now.
Period separator, that's all. Where did you click?
All right, so in your properties, okay, you're gonna hit the comment tab. You have the color tab, and then you have the comment tab. And right here on the side, make sure you have the show grids checkbox unchecked. And then make sure you have the show period separators. That one is checked. Once you do that, hit okay.
See, that wasn't so bad.
Nah, no, it wasn't.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. All right. So now that we have that in place, I'm going to show you guys how to utilize your tools. Okay? I'm going to show you how to use your measuring tools, your vertical lines, your horizontal lines, your Fibonacci, and your trend line. Okay? Now, these are some of the things that we use to analyze the market to figure out what's actually going on. Now, how many of you guys actually took advantage of that trade that I posted out earlier? That GU trade.
I didn't get it.
Oh, nice. That was a 66 pip drop, almost. At the crossing. So let me do this. I'm going to set up the moving averages for you all. Okay, and I want you guys to make sure that you have this set up on your charts because this is going to be very, very essential to you winning in the market. Okay, give me 1 second. So, okay. All right. So, up here at top, this little F button that has the green plus sign, this is going to be your indicators list. All right. Here you have all your different indicators that you're going to you can use. Okay. You got your Ichimoku, you got your Bollinger Bands, your ADX, you got your moving averages over here, you got your MACD, your momentum, stochastic, relative strength index. These are some of the ones that we tend to use a lot. All right, now I do know that some people have started using the fractals, and the fractals are pretty good as well. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just put in the fractals just to kind of get started, because there's nothing that you need to add to this. All you need to do is just hit okay. Now, all of these arrows, these show you the different levels of support and resistance, okay? This shows you basically the areas in which the market had hard times penetrating. These are going to be basically your levels of support and your levels of resistance. This is something that Dr. Spiller showed us the last time he was here. This is really, really simple. If you have a hard time trying to figure out where your levels of support and your levels of resistance are, use your fractals. Let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Here is your horizontal line tool, okay? You click on that, and if I was to place my horizontal line right there on the top of that fractal and bottom of this fractal, and right here at the bottom of that fractal or the top of that fractal, you can see exactly where that level of support and that level of resistance is. Sometimes all you got to do is just put it directly in the middle of your fractals. And you have your level of support and your level of resistance already laid out. Now, one of the other ways that I typically find my levels of support and resistance, I use the Ichimoku Cloud. Now, it's been a while since I've used Ichimoku, but what I do is I turn off the Tinkerson, the Kijinsen, and the Chico span, okay? I change the color of my up Kumo to green and my down Kumo to red. Here's the deal. You don't need these in order to find your levels of support and your resistance. You hit OK, and there you go. Every time that you see a flat line on the cloud, that is a level of support and resistance. Okay, guys? Anytime you see a flat line on the cloud, that is a level of support and a level of resistance. So you can take your horizontal tool and drop it directly on top of one of those lines, and you'll see it already lining up with your fractals. Can I see it? Look at that. Lining up directly with the fractals.
Question for you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
The second support and resistance line, the second horizontal, I don't see it lining up with any fractals. Like,
You said this one here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
Probably won't see it here,
Oh,
but if I scroll back, there it is,
gotcha.
right there. See? So sometimes you just have to go back into history.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see it right up front, sometimes it's just a matter of just going back. That's it.
Gotcha. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. All right. So if you don't want to use the fractals, you can also use the Ichimoku Cloud. And just remember, anytime that you see flat lines, that's where you're going to put your horizontal tool on to show you your support and your resistance. All right. Now, here's another quick tip, quick tool, okay? Anytime that you have your screen, you have all these different lines all over it, and you want to get rid of your lines, hit the backspace. You can get rid of everything that you placed on there just using the backspace. Real simple. Not even that complex. If you want to use, let me just get rid of this. To get rid of all of the lines that you put on the screen, you just hit your backspace. Now, say if you made a mistake, you didn't want to get rid of it, hit Control Z, and it'll bring everything back one by one. Okay? Hit the backspace to get rid of it, one by one. Just like that. All right. So anybody have any questions so far?
No, sir.
All right. Cool. All right. So now what I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you guys how to put the moving averages in place. This is one of the strategies that Masato actually showed us not too long ago. It's a beast of a strategy, guys. It's a really a beast of a strategy, because all you're using is two moving averages, a 50 and a 4. That's it. That is absolutely it. So let me go ahead and put in the 50. The 50 is going to be an exponential moving average. I typically like to have that color as blue. I like to thicken up that line. But you're going to do a 50 moving average. The period is going to be 50. The MA method is going to be exponential. Change your color to whatever color you want. You don't have to worry about any levels. All right, and then hit OK. Now here's your 50 moving average. This is going to go along with your candlesticks, okay? But it's not going to be as close to your candlesticks as the 4 that we're about to put in. So now we go back. We find our moving average again. This time we're going to type in 4 as the period, and then we're going to type in simple as the MA method. Now, we're going to go here. We're going to change that color. I'm going to change this to yellow. All right, got that line thickened up. Actually, you know what? Let me change it to white. That'd probably be better. So I'm going to change this to white, have the line thick, and I'm going to hit OK. Now, what I want to show you guys is this. Anytime that you see the 4 cross the 50, you need to be in that trade.
Question.
Answer.
Can we get an alert on those in case we're not on that chart?
Okay, so that's been one of my biggest headaches with MetaTrader 4. I don't see any way to inherently indicate you that there's a crossing between the 4 and the 50. You have to be looking at the chart. Now, I do know that there are some expert advisors that are out there that would trade on your behalf when the 4 and the 50 cross. But I'm not one to trust, expert advisors too much. I've seen too much with expert advisors where they have failed me. Okay, so I would rather use my own, knowledge and cognizance to determine whether or not I need to be in this trade or not. All right, but what I will do is I'll look for some alerts or expert advisors that will just alert you to a trade once the 4 and the 50 cross. You good with that?
Yes. Hey, Daniel, I've been looking at, since you mentioned that Sunday on the MA and look at the stochastics.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of coincide with each other, you know what I'm saying? It kind of, you get those alerts on that easy stole you showed us a while back.
Right. You'll see a
So
lot.
it may coincide together on some of those.
Yeah, I mean, typically they do. What you'll see sometimes like the stochastic, it'll show you or it'll indicate to you that there's about to be a steep drop, and you'll see it. Sometimes the stochastic will show you that it's about to drop, and you'll see that the EMAs are about to cross. Now, if the EMAs cross, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're in that trade and take that bad boy down 10 to 20 pips. Okay? Now, there are times where there will be a bit of a fake out, like this here. You see how close it got to the crossing, but then turned around and went back up. So you have to be careful sometimes, because you'll even get a fake out like this. It crossed, but then turned around and went back up. All right? So you want to be careful that when these bad boys cross, you want to see something like this versus something like this. All right? Now, every time that it crosses, you can use your measuring tool. This is your measuring tool. This is your crosshairs. All right? When it crosses, click on the cross and drag it down, and you'll see how many pips it dropped on every one. Let's see. Let's do this one here, because this one crossed up. You can see the top of that. It was like 63 pips. It crossed here going down. That was a total of 20 pips. Cross going up. That's a total of like 45 pips. This one did a bit of a fake out. It just tapped it and then came down, then crossed. But guys, here's one of the rules to the crossing, okay? This one here, if you would have stayed in this, it's about here, that would have been 224 pips. But here's one of the rules. Yeah, here's one of the rules. Anytime that you're in a downtrend, say that the 4 crosses the 50 and the 4 is under the 50, you're in a downtrend, okay? Anytime that, how do I put this? Anytime that the candlestick closes underneath the 4, it's safe to get back in that trade and just write it down. Okay? Anytime the candlestick closes below the 4, it's safe to get into that trade and ride it back down. But the moment that it closes above the 4, that's when you want to get out. Let me say that again. When it closes below the 4, it's safe to get in and ride it down. But the moment that it closes above the 4, that's when you want to get out. You guys got it?
Yes.
Closes below the 4, safe to get in. Closes above the 4, time to get out. Now, vice versa. When the movement is above the 50, okay? When it closes above the 4, it's safe to get in. But the moment it closes below the 4, it's time to get out. Closes above, safe to get in. Closes below, it's time to get out. Now, this would probably have been a good indicator right here that it was time to get out, just simply because of the that wick right there. Well, not the wick, but the doji. This would have been a perfect teacup too. Let me actually build this though. I think that's more than 30 pips. That's more than 30. Yeah, that's more than 30. That's 36 pips. So that would have cut this out. All right. So real quick, guys, what I want to show you is the trend tool, okay, and your vertical lines. Now, your vertical lines is simple, all right? All you do is click on it, and you can drag it and drop it anywhere that you want, okay? But the beautiful thing about the vertical tool, at the bottom, it shows you your time and your date of that particular candle, okay? Now with your horizontal line will show you the price of that line, okay? Where that price is in the market. The vertical line will tell you the date and the time of that candle in the market, okay? Horizontal line will give you the price in the market, and the vertical line will give you the date and the time of that candle in the market. All right. Now, how to use your trend line. This is going to be your trend line tool. It's real easy to use it. You just pick a point and then connect the dots. That's all to it. Now, normally you will go with that first wick. So from the cut wick to second wick, and just let it just ride on down. So right now, what you see is, and I'm going to change this color. I'm going to change this color to say, let me just change the yellow. All right. So what you got right here is a trend line. And what it's done is showed you how the market pretty much respected that trend line. It shows you exactly what's happening. And the very moment that it crosses that trend line, it's an indication that market is basically about to reverse on you. A lot of people just do technical analysis. And I'm telling you, it's a really good tool to use and have in your arsenal. Okay? This is how I determined earlier about that GU trade. And let me kind of show you guys that real quick. I know we got like 6 minutes left, so I'm going to start asking you guys if you have any questions real soon. So I just want to show you guys this GU trade real quick. Okay, so let me get rid of this stuff here down at the bottom. I'm gonna bring this back. What I want to do is I want to use the full window. All right. So earlier today I called a GU trade. Okay. Now this is too many lines. I know Laura's about to kill me because it's too many lines on the chart. All right, so pull that. All right, so you guys remember it was like earlier this week or last week, you saw this major dip in the market, right? Well, that major dip.
Jeez.
Yeah, she was like, I think that was like 200 something odd pips that it dipped.
Like a waterfall.
Yeah, 298 pips. So it was 2 pips shy of 300. Right. So one thing that I did notice earlier was this. Price movement came back up and respected that line. You see how it respected that line? It did not really move beyond this level of support or resistance, okay? Now, one of the things that we have been learning is flag patterns. So what I did was I used my trend line, and what I did was I wedged everything in. Now, did you see how the market bounced off of these levels? You see how it bounced? And anytime that you have a wedge where the market dipped, excuse me, the market dipped and then it's bouncing inside, still going up, it's basically going to wind up being a continuation to the downside. And that's what you had right here. This was a total of about 60 something odd pip move from here. Hold on. So from here to about right here, that was a total of 66 pips. And that's what I called out earlier today. These are some of the things that I want you guys to start recognizing. Flag patterns, okay? How to set channels. And these are some things that I'm going to be talking to you guys about later on as well, just kind of teaching you guys how to set up different strategies, different, setups, using your support, your resistance, using your channel tools, using your Fibonacci's, your trend lines, and things of that nature, okay? because this would have been a perfect setup if you guys would have caught this 66 pip drop. This was really easy to recognize. And right now, if you look, even with her dropping here, you see her starting to stagnate. So it's a grand possibility she may drop again. So I want you guys to keep your eyes open for this area here, okay? Now, do you guys have any questions?
What time did that dip happen right there, that 60 pip dip?
This one, I was at work during this time. So, let me see. This is 1400. So I want to say it was like around about
2, 3.
Was that 2 or 3 in the afternoon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
13, 14, that's 2.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
That would be 2.
12, 1, 2.
So that's 2 o'clock.
Yep. 2 o'clock.
Okay, that's GBP USD.
Mm-hmm. So these are some things that I definitely want you guys to start keeping your eyes out for. Okay. Now I know there's a ton of different like patterns, and I'm not expecting everybody to know them all, but I want you guys to get to a point where you can recognize some of these patterns so you can take advantage of them. All right. Did anybody have any questions? Oh, don't speak at once now.
Not today.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, for investing time in everybody, bro.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
StupidDollars.com. Go to StupidDollars.com.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording now.